HOA bullied a disabled veteran for years. Then his grandson exposed them online. The summer sun burned over Maplewood Estates as 72-year-old Walter Hayes slowly pushed his wheelchair toward his mailbox. Every movement hurt. Not because of age. Because of war. The old veteran's right leg had been amputated 20 years earlier after an explosion overseas. His shoulders carried scars nobody could see. Yet every morning, he still raised the American flag outside his tiny home. That morning, the flag was gone. The pole had been snapped in half. And hanging from the broken wood was a bright yellow HOA violation notice. Property APPARS unsightly. Remove DAMAGED STRUCTURES immediately or face daily FINES. Walter stared silently. Then he noticed something else. Spray painted across his garage in giant red letters. Move out. Across the street, several neighbors peeked through curtains. Nobody helped. Nobody spoke. Because everyone in Maplewood knew one thing. The HOA president destroyed anyone who fought back. And Walter Hayes had been their favorite target for years. But what the HOA didn't know was that Walter's grandson had just arrived in town. And within days, the entire internet would turn against them. Walter lived alone after his wife passed away 3 years earlier. His house wasn't perfect. The paint faded. The grass grew uneven. His wheelchair ramp looked old. But the home carried memories. Every wall held photographs of military service, family holidays, and a life built through sacrifice. To Walter, it was sacred. To the HOA, it was an eyesore. The woman behind it all was Denise Carter. Perfect hair, perfect smile, cold eyes. Denise ruled Maplewood Estates like a dictator. She obsessed over property values, appearances, and power. And she hated Walter. Not because he caused problems. Because he reminded her that compassion made communities messy. Over the years, she fined him for everything. His wheelchair ramp color. His overgrown roses. Military banners on holidays. A cracked driveway. Leaving trash bins outside too long. The fines kept growing. $100. $500. $2,000. Eventually, the HOA threatened foreclosure. Walter tried fighting back. But lawyers cost money. And disabled veterans living on fixed income don't win wars against wealthy HOA boards. One afternoon, Denise knocked on his door with 2 board members behind her. "Mr. Hayes," she said coldly, "you have 30 days to remove the unauthorized ramp." Walter looked confused. "This ramp is how I enter my house." Denise shrugged. "It violates community aesthetics." Walter's hands trembled. "I'm disabled." Denise smiled slightly. "Then perhaps Maplewood Estates is no longer suitable for your lifestyle." Silence. Pure silence. Walter quietly closed the door. Then sat alone in darkness. For the first time in years. The old soldier cried. 3 days later, a black pickup truck pulled into Walter's driveway. Out stepped 24-year-old Ethan Hayes. Tall, sharp-eyed, camera bag over his shoulder. Ethan was a small documentary creator with a growing online audience. He specialized in exposing corruption and injustice online. But he hadn't visited Maplewood in months. When he saw the broken flagpole, his face changed immediately. "What happened here?" Walter tried smiling. "It's nothing." But Ethan noticed the stack of HOA violation letters inside the kitchen. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. He spent hours reading everything. His jaw tightened with every page. "You've been paying these." Walter nodded. "I didn't want trouble." "How much?" Walter hesitated. "Almost $40,000 over the years." Ethan went silent. Then he saw the newest notice. "Foreclosure review pending." His stomach dropped. "They're trying to take your house." Walter looked down. "I think so." That night, Ethan stayed awake, researching the HOA. And what he discovered shocked him. Dozens of residents had moved away after legal threats. Elderly homeowners targeted. Single mothers fined aggressively. Selective enforcement. Suspicious financial records. And one name appeared everywhere. Denise Carter. Ethan leaned back slowly. This wasn't just bullying. This was organized abuse. And he had a camera. The next morning, Ethan began filming. Not dramatic interviews. Not fake outrage. Just truth. Walter struggling up the ramp. Walter showing military medals. Walter explaining each HOA fine with shaking hands. Then Ethan filmed the broken flagpole. The veteran's silence said more than words ever could. Finally, Ethan asked, "Why didn't you tell anyone?" Walter answered quietly, "Because people stopped listening to old men." Ethan uploaded the video that night. Title: HOA has bullied disabled veteran for years. At first, only a few thousand views. Then somebody reposted it. Then a military page shared it. Then a massive creator reacted to it live. Within 48 hours, the video exploded past 5 million views. Comments flooded endlessly. "This is evil. How is this legal? Protect this veteran. Expose the HOA." News stations began calling. Lawyers offered help. Veterans' organization demanded investigations. And then, someone leaked footage from an HOA meeting. Footage Denise thought nobody would ever see. The leaked video changed everything. Inside the recording, Denise sat laughing with board members. One member asked nervously, "Are we pushing too hard on the veteran?" Denise rolled her eyes. "He's old. He'll either leave or die eventually." The room laughed. Ethan watched the footage in horror. Then the board treasurer added something worse. "If we seize that property, developers already offered premium prices." Silence. The entire internet exploded. This had never been about community rules. They wanted Walter's land, because a new luxury shopping center was planned nearby. Walter's small property suddenly became valuable, and the HOA wanted him gone before prices skyrocketed. That clip spread faster than the original video. National outrage erupted overnight. Veterans groups protested outside Maplewood Estates. Neighbors who stayed silent for years suddenly panicked, because reporters now stood outside the neighborhood every day. Denise attempted damage control. She released a public statement claiming the footage was edited maliciously. Nobody believed her. Then former residents began speaking publicly. One elderly widow revealed the HOA forced her into debt. Another family described harassment campaigns. The stories piled up. The monster was finally exposed. But Denise wasn't finished. One evening, Walter's electricity suddenly shut off. Then his water stopped. Ethan immediately suspected retaliation. He recorded everything. Within hours, another video went online. This one showed Walter sitting in darkness, beside military medals, illuminated only by candlelight. The internet erupted again. Millions demanded criminal investigations. Sponsors abandoned the HOA's legal partners. Board members began resigning publicly. Property values inside Maplewood started collapsing as buyers avoided the scandal. Residents blamed Denise. Tension exploded during an emergency HOA meeting. People screamed. Neighbors accused the board of corruption. One man shouted, "You destroyed this community." Another yelled, "You targeted a war hero for money." Then Denise lost control completely. She pointed at Walter and screamed, "He ruined everything." The room froze. Walter slowly stood using his walker. Pain crossed his face, but his voice remained calm. "No," he whispered. "You did." Absolute silence. Even Denise looked shaken. Because for the first time, the old veteran wasn't afraid anymore. State investigators officially launched financial fraud investigations against the HOA. Bank records revealed missing funds, illegal selective fines, secret developer agreements. Multiple lawsuits followed. The HOA collapsed within months. Denise resigned in disgrace. Several board members faced criminal charges. But Walter never celebrated publicly. That wasn't who he was. Instead, one quiet morning, Ethan helped rebuild the broken flagpole. Neighbors slowly gathered outside. Many looked ashamed. An elderly woman approached Walter with tears in her eyes. "We should have helped you sooner." Walter nodded gently. "We all get scared sometimes." Then Ethan handed Walter his phone. The newest video had reached 20 million views. Messages poured in from veterans across the country. Thousands thanked him. Thousands apologized for staying silent in their own communities. And then something unexpected happened. Donations flooded in. Not hundreds, hundreds of thousands. Enough to fully restore Walter's home. Enough to build accessible housing for disabled veterans nearby. Enough to turn pain into something meaningful. Months later, a new community center opened where the HOA office once stood. Its name read, HOAs Freedom Center. Walter stared at the sign silently. Then Ethan asked softly, "Was it worth it?" The old veteran looked at families laughing nearby. Children playing freely. Neighbors helping each other. For the first time in years, Maplewood finally felt like a community. Walter smiled. "Yes." Fade to black. If this story moved you, share it with someone who still believes kindness matters. And remember, sometimes the quietest people carry the strongest voices.